Hey guys, I'm Kristen, and today I'm going to share a video that's different from what I've normally done on my channel. I'm sharing this video because I feel like it can help someone that is in the similar situation that I was in, and someone can take from this video and make better choices than I made whenever I was in this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the video. As you can see in the title, I am a single mother. My son is now 2 years old. And I will start off by saying being a single mother is one of the hardest but rewarding things I have ever done in my entire life. But I'm going to go ahead and build this story so you have a little bit of information on before I got pregnant and let you know what happened during my pregnancy up till today. This video may get very long just because I'm taking years of stuff and I'm trying to condense it into one video, and so if it gets long, I apologize, but I hope you make it to the end. And if you don't, I hope that wherever you made it to, that you were able to take some notes and hopefully make a better decision for your child than I did in the beginning. So back in 2013, I met a guy. I'm gonna call him Jim. My friends introduced me to this guy. Automatically we clicked, we had great chemistry, we liked each other, and it became to a point where we just started dating. The only problem with Jim is he lived 3 hours away from where I lived, and at the time I was living with my parents, so he couldn't stay at my parents' house. So we took turns coming to see each other. He obviously had to get a hotel whenever he came to visit me, and I would stay with him, and we had so much fun. We would go to mountains, we'd go sightseeing, we'd go to the movies, we would just do what normal couples do, and it was so much fun. I loved being around him. He had a great personality, and he just seemed like the ideal guy. We started liking each other so much and started bonding so much that I actually moved a lot of my stuff into his apartment. We got furniture together, and I was staying with him for the most part. I would actually come see my parents on the weekends, and I pretty much lived at his residence. I'm going to fast forward this to whenever I found out I was pregnant, and this is when stuff starts going very south quickly. November of 2014, it was about the end of November, I found out I was pregnant. I started feeling weird, I was very nauseous, and it was all the typical signs of pregnancy. So I decided to get a pregnancy test, and obviously it showed positive, but the way that it showed that the test was positive, I didn't really believe that I was pregnant because it was such a faint line. So I told my sister about it, and I told her that I think I might be pregnant, and I didn't believe it, and I wanted her to see the test, and she looked at it and she's like, yeah, you're pregnant, that's positive. I'm like, there's no way, it's so faint, it looks like it's like a dried up watermark. So she asked me if I wanted to stay with her for the weekend and get some more pregnancy tests and see what those pregnancy tests said. So I decided to do that. I ended up buying 8 pregnancy tests, some digital, some not digital. I took every single one, and every single pregnancy test said that I was pregnant. At this point, I was scared. I did not know what to do. She was telling me everything's gonna be okay. I will be able to do this. I'll be able to be a mother, and I was just trying to soak all of this in, and it was so much at once, and I really did not know what to think. The second person that I told was my mother, because I figured she could give me advice and tell me what I needed to do, and obviously she's been through this because she's had 3 children. So I told my mother, and automatically she was very disappointed in me. And I mean, she had every right to be disappointed in me because this was not the ideal situation. We weren't married, and she did not think that he would be able to provide for a family. So she had every single right to be mad at me. She gave me some advice. She told me that I needed to go ahead and make a plan and figure out what I was going to do, and that I needed to tell my father. Well, I was very, very scared to tell my father. I did not know how to tell him. So I kind of put telling my father off on the back burner for a while until I figured out how I was going to tell him. The third person I obviously told was my son's father. He immediately started freaking out, which I figured that he would. I mean, I didn't think there was anything weird with him freaking out because I obviously was freaking out myself, but then he automatically started pushing abortion. And this is when things start going south quickly. He told me that he was not ready to be a father. He did not want children. He never wants children. He doesn't like children, and that I needed to get an abortion because he was not going to be my son's father. Well, he started going back and forth. One minute he wanted to be a father, he wanted to be a family. Next minute I needed to get an abortion, and then he said that if I keep the child that he wasn't going to tell his family, his mother could never find out. This was going on back and forth for months. We were not civil, but then at the same time we were still together. I don't know, it's very confusing. I remember that I moved back to my parents' house. I left everything at Jim's house and I came to my parents' house and I stayed with them for a while. Still, Jim would come and visit me and take me out and do stuff. He just said that he didn't want a child, and every single time that I saw him, he was pushing abortion. He was trying to take me to abortion clinics. I mean, it got bad. So I remember on New Year's Eve, he called me and he said, why don't you come stay for New Year's Eve, stay for the weekend, and we can talk about this and come to a mutual agreement. So I was all for that. So of course I got in my vehicle, I packed a couple of clothes. Even though I had stuff there, I still packed a little bag and I went to Jim's place. So as soon as I got to Jim's house, he was acting very weird. He was very standoffish, and he was at his table and he was sitting down, and he's like, you need to sit down so we can talk about this situation and come to an agreement. And as soon as I sat down, I kid you not, he slams his hands down. He said, you're having an abortion. There's no other way. You're having an abortion. I don't want children. I don't like children. I don't want to be a father right now. I can't even support myself. How can I support a child? And I automatically got into defense mode. I went to grab my stuff up and I went to leave, and he pulled me back and he said, no, you're not leaving. And I said, well, I'm not having an abortion. By this time, I'm like boo-hooing, crying. I mean, you can just imagine the situation. And I'm like, I'm not having an abortion, so I need to leave and I need to go home. I'm not dealing with this. I did not come here to argue over an abortion. And automatically he just snaps. He's like, okay, we can keep the child then. Just please don't leave. So I ended up staying the night there. The next morning, we decided that we wanted to go get something to eat. So we get ready and we go outside. He lives 2 stories up in his apartment, so we had to walk down 2 sets of stairs. As soon as I go down the stairs, he bumps into me, and I figured maybe he accidentally bumped into me, and I almost fell, and thank goodness I was able to catch the rail. He made this comment, and he's like, I could just push you down the stairs and you could just lose the baby. I did not know what to think then. I was hoping that it was a joke. Me being as naive as I am, I did not take it as a red flag, as I should have taken it as a red flag whenever he automatically just switched that he wanted to have a family. I didn't take this as a red flag. I was so naive, and I just continued to walk down the stairs. We went to go get something to eat. We came back, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to leave because I don't want to get stuck in traffic. It's going to be horrible today. I don't want to get stuck in this. So I ended up going home sooner than I was planning on going home because I was going to stay the whole weekend, but I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel like staying. I felt something was off, and I honestly didn't want to be around him because he was making the situation a lot more stressful than it needed to be. So I went home, and I remember that night he called me. His friend was over at his house, and they were sitting there talking and joking and stuff, and he's like, you need to drink bleach. You just need to drink bleach. We're going to call his friend Sam. Sam had his girlfriend drink bleach, and she was able to abort her child because they didn't want a kid. You're going to drink bleach next time you come over. I'm going to force you to drink bleach. And then I knew that he purposely tried to push me down the stairs to lose the baby. Then he was going to force me to drink bleach to get rid of the baby. And on top of it, he was trying to force me to have an abortion, so I automatically knew he did not want to have a child. He was just making everything so much more stressful for me. And for some reason, I just continued to talk to him. We continued dating, even though we were on a weird roller coaster of abortion, no abortion. I don't know why I was so naive, to be honest. This is not typical of me. Normally I would have been gone. I would have not dealt with half of this, and I don't know if it's because I wanted him to be a father so badly and I wanted this to work, but for some reason I couldn't get into my head that he was not going to be a father. He was not going to do what he needed to do, and he just was out to hurt me. Within the time that I started living back at my parents' house, I ended up telling my dad. My dad was very upset at me, but he also said that Jim was going to do the right thing, and he was going to be this father's child, and he was going to provide, and he wasn't going to leave me holding the basket by myself. So he ended up calling Jim, and Jim was acting like everything was perfect and that he was going to do the right thing. It was yes sir, no sir, oh yes I agree sir. He was being so different towards my dad, obviously, and it ate me up inside because my dad did not know what I had been dealing with. My mom did not know what I was dealing with, and for him to put on this fake show that we were on the same agreement and that he wanted to be my son's father, it just irritated me so much because he was so fake and he was just lying to my dad. Then again, I did not say anything. I did not tell my parents anything. And let me tell you, if you are dealing with something like this, you need to be honest with your parents. You need to tell them. They are going to be your biggest support system that you have. Be honest, talk to someone, let someone know what you're going through, because it's going to get worse if you don't. And that's exactly what happened to me. Jim ended up coming over for Christmas. We ended up spending time together, and we were acting like we were perfect. My family did not know anything was wrong with us. They did not know we were fighting. They did not know that there was a situation with abortion going on. They thought that everything was going great and that we were planning on being a family. So during the time period that Jim came over for our Christmas dinner, my parents actually ended up needing a few items picked up from the store, and I think the only store that was open was a gas station. So I ended up riding with Jim to go get those items for my parents. Everything was going well. We were laughing and joking, and he went into the store, he got the items, and we decided to head back towards my house. And then all of a sudden he slams into a parking lot and he punches his fist into the dash, acting like he's gonna hit me, and he says, "You're having an abortion. I'm coming down next week and I'm gonna take you and you're having an abortion. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't wanna hear about it anymore. You're not gonna have a child by me. We're not having a child. I do not want a child, and we can stay together. We don't have to break up, but I am not going to have a child right now." I felt like if I did not agree with him, that I was going to be in danger. So I just agreed to him to make him hear what he wanted to hear, and I told him, okay, we can have an abortion, just so I knew that I was going to make it home safely. So after the Christmas party, Jim ends up going home because he has to celebrate Christmas with his family, and he ends up calling me on his way home, and he told me that I need to figure out the nearest abortion clinic, and I need to go ahead and schedule an appointment and let him know what day it is so he can come and take me. And he said that I can fake to my family that I had a miscarriage and everything's gonna be okay. That's the way that Jim is thinking at this time. So I just agree with him. I tell him, okay, I will look it all up. I did not feel like fussing with him. I did not feel like arguing. So I just completely just tell Jim what he wants to hear. So the next day I end up breaking the news to Jim that I'm actually not having an abortion. And he just goes ahead and says, okay, you don't have to have an abortion. We can be a family and we can do things right. So wishy-washy again. I believe him in what he's saying, but this time is different. This time he's being super, super nice to me, and he's being sweet. He's asking me how the pregnancy's going, how far along I am, and he's acting very excited. Well, my first ultrasound appointment comes around, and Jim and I, we are actually on good terms at this time, and Jim is so excited. He's so happy, and my mom, she ends up going me to my first ultrasound, and I'm sitting there saying, you know what, I want to record this. This is a memory that I want to have, and I end up recording a short video of my son moving in the ultrasound, and I end up sending it to Jim. All of a sudden, Jim blocks me on every single social media platform there is. He ends up telling me that he can't do this, and he blocks my number. I have a friend that was still friends with him on Facebook, and she looks the next day and he's in a relationship with someone else. Keep this in mind. Not only is he in a relationship with someone else, he makes it public on Facebook, but obviously I'm blocked so I can't see it. But not only is it just a girl, it's a girl with a child. It's a girl with a child. He's in a relationship with someone with a child after he's sitting here fussing with me that he doesn't want a child. So I felt that was very strange, and he just up and just abandoned me completely with this. And I mean, it happened. But that's not the worst of the story. I'm not going to get too into detail with this girl and him, but the most that I can say is they end up harassing me very, very badly, and I end up having abortion clinics calling me to make sure that I'm coming for my appointment. I had this happening for months, where she was calling for him, setting up abortion appointments, acting like me, giving my information, and they were calling me to make sure that I was coming, and it just got very bad, and it put me in severe depression because she was harassing me. She was calling me. She was texting me from different numbers. She was harassing me on Facebook. He ended up unblocking me on Facebook just to harass me and send pictures of them together. And it got bad. It got really, really bad really quick. And I was in severe depression. My mom knew it. So my mom told me that I needed to delete all of my social media or just deactivate it for a while. So that's what I did, and I ended up focusing on my pregnancy. He would text me in the middle of the night, he would call me, and the same for her. And I tried blocking their numbers, but they make fake texting apps and where you can call and text and stuff, so that was happening as well. And it got so bad that eventually I ended up changing my number. But there was so much stress from them constantly harassing me during my entire pregnancy. All the stress and depression and stuff, I ended up having my son a month and a half early than what he was supposed to be born. So he ended up having to spend several months in the NICU, and that was very emotional for me as well, because I actually had to leave the hospital and leave my baby at the NICU. And to top it off, even though I changed my number and I had all of my information private, they actually ended up finding what hospital that I ended up having my son at. And the harassment was so bad that they actually called the hospital, the NICU, and they were acting like they were from Child Protective Services and saying that they needed an update on him and asking all kinds of weird information. And thank goodness the nurse that answered the phone red flagged it automatically. She knew that that has never happened that way, that if there was a problem where Child Protective Services were doing something with my son's case, that they would actually physically come to the hospital, that they've never called. So thank goodness she actually ended up red flagging that, and she told me about it and told me that I need to be very careful and that they already know about it. And I let her know the situation of, you know, with his father and the situation with the girlfriend and all that. So thankfully they were understanding, and they did not let anyone give any updates on my son. They did not let anyone come in and visit unless they were with me. And I'm just so grateful that that hospital was so good with my son, and they were so understanding, because obviously this stuff like this happens a lot with people. I'm so glad that he did not end up being in my son's life, because now he has so many charges on him. He's been in jail for shoplifting. He's been in jail for second-degree child endangerment. He's been in jail for assault and battery on a family, and there's like so many charges he has on him. So I actually ended up lucking up in the situation. Thankfully he has left me alone and he hasn't harassed me. He did try to reach out not too long ago, and I've avoided that completely. So I lucked up with the situation. My son is doing great. Being a single mother is so hard, but it's so rewarding. Like I said, you just have to have patience. And if you're dealing with something like this, you need to let your family know. You need to go ahead and start building a support system, because your family is the most support that you're going to be able to have. You're going to need someone to help you watch your child when you go to work. You're going to need someone to help you maybe financially. Maybe you can't do it on your own. Personally, I do not get any money from my son's father, just because if I give him rights, he can do whatever he wants, and I'd rather not have a few $100s from him. I'd rather do everything on my own and have the support of my family and friends. So thankfully, my friends, they were very supportive during all of this. They tried to guide me in the right direction. And another friend of mine, she was actually pregnant during the same time that I was pregnant, so I was able to lean on her for advice, and she was able to comfort me and give me information. So overall, I had a very, very good support system after they found out what was going on. Yeah, like if you're dealing with this situation, if you don't have anyone to talk to, you're more than welcome to inbox me. You're more than welcome to contact me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have it all. Or you can write in the comments down below. I will be here for you. I will give you as much advice as I can. Trust me, I've been through a lot. There's a lot of other details that I have not shared just because the safety of my son. I don't want to stir a pot while everything is calm. But things got really bad very quickly for me, and I'm trying to give y'all the nice version of the situation. But yeah, trust me, I've been there, I've done that, and I'm here to support you if you need it. Comment down below. Like I said, contact me somehow. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to start doing a lot more single mom stuff, just because there's a lot of stuff that people don't talk about when you're a single mom, and I think there's a lot of advice that I can give, and there's a lot of advice that I can actually take. So if you have any advice that you can give me as a single mom, or just a mom in general, everyone's welcome. Or if you're a single dad and you have advice you can give me, I'm down for it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you were able to take from it. I hope that you don't do some of the things that I did, and you make better decisions, and you don't let the situation last as long as I did. At the end of the day, if someone does not want to be in your child's life, do not force them to be in your child's life, because they could be having alternative motives. They're not going to be in their life like you're expecting them to be. And then on the flip side, if you and someone are not working out in a relationship, but they want to be in your child's life, don't keep your child from them if they're going to be a good parent and you can tell that they have the right motives and that they want to be a parent for their child. Don't do it out of spite, because there's a lot of children that are being put in the middle of a fight. Thankfully, mine's not a fight. He willingly did not want to be a father to him. So just keep that in mind. If you are in the same situation, don't try to force them. Just walk away. You're pregnant, you're a single mom, there's lots of help you can get. If you need help with money and stuff, there's lots of government assistance programs you can get. Just whatever you do, just don't give up, and there is support out there. There are people that will help you. There's lots of pregnancy apps. There's lots of ways to find a support system, even if you don't have a close family bond with your actual immediate family. Just don't give up, and I hope to see y'all later. Make sure to touch out to me. Make sure to contact me if you need a support system. I'm here for you, and I will see y'all later. Thank you. Bye.